They told me salad was good for me. That it was the smart choice. The healthy choice. And for most of my life, I believed them. I'd make a bowl with romaine, cucumbers, a bit of dressing, sometimes ranch, sometimes olive oil. But then, one morning, just like any other, I sat in my doctor's office. It should be a routine checkup. But his face was serious. He held up my blood pressure chart. "Harold," he said. "You're climbing again. If this keeps up, we're talking stroke risk." I was stunned. "But doc, I've been eating salad almost every day." He looked at me and said something I'll never forget. "It's not about what you're eating, Harold. It's what you're missing. You're flooding your system with sodium, and starving it of potassium." That day, I went home, sat on my porch swing, and stared at my lunch. A salad. My usual. And for the first time, I realized. I had no idea what that food was doing inside me. What followed was 30 days that changed everything. I call it my dash month. I'm going to take you through every twist, every mistake, and every small victory. I'll show you the salad I made that helped lower my blood pressure, and the surprising truth about the sodium-potassium ratio. Stay with me. Because this story, this challenge, might just save your heart too. For years, I thought I had it under control. I mean, I wasn't eating fried chicken every day. I walked in the mornings. I even cut back on bacon, well, sometimes. But I still remember the day I walked out of the grocery store and felt dizzy. Just a little spin. I thought it was the heat. Or maybe I stood up too fast. But it wasn't. That night, my pressure read 168/102. It hit me like a freight train. I'd lost 2 friends to strokes in just 1 year. And here I was, heading down the same road. I remember sitting alone on my porch that night, thinking, how the hell did I end up here, doing everything right and still failing? If you're watching this and thinking, but I eat healthy. Trust me, I was you. That's why you need to hear what I'm about to tell you next. The next morning, I met Dr. Ellison. A calm, gray-haired cardiologist who'd been practicing longer than I'd been retired. He looked at my numbers, asked about my meals, then leaned forward and said, "Mr. Bennett, it's not just about what you eat. It's the balance between 2 minerals, sodium and potassium. That's your missing piece." He pulled out a chart. Sodium makes your blood vessels stiff and narrow. Potassium helps relax them and lowers resistance. Most Americans eat 5 times more sodium than potassium. And here's the kicker, he said the magic ratio is 1 to 2. 1 part sodium, 2 parts potassium. I was nowhere near that. My go-to lunch, store-bought rotisserie chicken and pickles, had 3 days worth of sodium, and barely a trace of potassium. He showed me the AHA 2020 guidelines, and a paper titled, Effect of the DASH Diet on Blood Pressure in Older Adults, JAMA Cardiology. The study tracked over 400 seniors. Those who followed DASH for 30 days saw their systolic BP drop by 11 points. This diet saves lives, he said. But you need to make it a habit, not just a phase. I went home that day and looked at my fridge like it was the enemy. For 2 weeks, I made salad, grilled vegetables, boiled beans, and searched every label for sodium. And slowly, I began to feel something different. The dizziness faded. My headaches disappeared. And when I checked my BP after 3 weeks, it read 128/78. I cried. And not because of the onion in my salad. That's why I'm here, telling you this. Not because I'm a doctor. But because I've been where you are. And now I've walked out the other side, holding a salad bowl in one hand, and a lower BP in the other. When I stepped out of Dr. Morgan's office that morning, I didn't feel scared. I felt unsure. He hadn't scolded me. He didn't push pills. He just pointed me to something I'd never paid attention to before. The balance between sodium and potassium. It's not what you remove, he said. It's what you restore. That sentence echoed in my ears the whole drive home. I'd spent years cutting things out, salt, sugar, joy. But I never thought about adding back the good stuff. That night, I sat in silence at my kitchen table. I didn't have a plan. I just had a pen, a grocery list, and a feeling that this time had to be different. So, I did what I knew best, I made a list. One side, foods high in potassium, spinach, bananas, white beans, sweet potatoes. Other side, sodium bombs I needed to avoid, canned soups, cold cuts, store-bought dressings. I took out a pen and wrote on a yellow notepad. Day 1, starts now. I stuck it on my fridge like it was a commandment. That first week, I'll be honest, I hated it. My body craved salt. My taste buds missed cheese. And I didn't even know how to cook a damn lentil. But then something happened. If you've ever felt like quitting on day 3, you're not alone. That's exactly where I almost gave up. Until I saw my blood pressure dip, just a little. It was 151/96. Still high, but lower than day 1. That tiny drop felt like I just won the Super Bowl. I called Dr. Ellison. He laughed and said, "Told you, Harold. The ratio works. Just stay the course." So I did. Every morning, I logged my meals and BP into a little chart I made. I called it my dash tracker. By the way, I've made a printable version for you too. You can grab it in the description or the pinned comment below this video. Then I started posting on a little Facebook group for heart patients. Turns out, dozens of folks were struggling just like me. That's how our 30-day dash challenge was born. The key lesson. It wasn't just about food. It was about tracking. Seeing the trend. Understanding your body. Dr. Ellison told me, "Harold, your heart doesn't care about the food. It cares about the pattern." So I started spotting patterns. On days I ate chickpeas and spinach, my BP dipped. When did I sneak in a salty sausage? It spiked like crazy. It wasn't magic. It was data. And data doesn't lie. By day 21, my meals looked nothing like before. Breakfast: Greek yogurt with walnuts and blueberries. Lunch: salad with olive oil, avocado, and boiled egg. Dinner: grilled salmon, quinoa, steamed broccoli. But most importantly, I felt alive again. Lighter. Calmer. More in control. That's why I'm challenging you today. Download the PDF tracker. Pick 3 potassium-rich foods. Stick to it for 7 days, just 7. And then come back, and tell me what changed. Because if it worked for a 76-year-old former history teacher with a stubborn taste for bacon, it can work for you too. Day 30. It was one of those mornings when the sky looked like fresh laundry, clean, soft, calm. I'd walk to the clinic with my tracker in one hand and hope in the other. Waiting in that little beige room, I looked at my notes again. 29 days. 87 meals logged. 29 blood pressure readings. 0 skipped days. Dr. Ellison walked in, smiled like a proud parent, and said, "Well, Harold, let's see if the salad did its job. Wait for news that might change everything." That moment, when you hold your breath, hoping the numbers prove you right. He flipped the chart. Week 1, 162/98. Week 2, 149/91. Week 3, 135/85. Week 4, 124/76. I just stared. then chuckled. "Doc, is your machine broken?" He laughed. "Nope. That's what happens when a man listens, logs, and lets the spinach do its work." Then he pulled out a laminated AHA summary. American Heart Association, 2021-Clinical Guide. He underlined. In seniors aged 60+, a sustained DASH plan has been proven to lower systolic BP by 8 to 14 millimeters of mercury within 1 month. "You beat that average," he said. "You owned it." But what hit hardest wasn't the numbers. It was when he looked me in the eye and said, "Harold, you're no longer just managing your heart. You're leading it." I walked out of that clinic feeling like I'd just been knighted. Not because I was cured, but because, for the first time, I didn't feel like a victim of age. I felt like an actor in my health. On the way home, I stopped by my neighbor Frank's porch. He squinted at my paper and said, "What the heck is a potassium ratio?" I laughed and said, "Come inside. I'll show you." Have you ever had white bean spinach salad? That afternoon, we made lunch together. I taught Frank how to boil lentils. He taught me how to cut an onion without crying. I pulled out my DASH tracker, showed him how I log meal, sodium estimate, potassium bonus, mood. Mood, he asked. "Yeah," I said. "Because health isn't just numbers. It's how you feel showing up for your own life." That evening, I FaceTimed my daughter. Showed her the chart. She teared up. "Dad, you look younger." I smiled. "No, sweetie. I just finally learned how to feed myself like I'm worth it. That's why I'm sharing this with you. Not as a doctor. Not as a fitness guru. But as a man who was scared, tired, and done with guesswork. Today, I still use the same tracker. I still eat my DASH salad at lunch. And I still check in with our Facebook group. If you want to start, download the PDF tracker. Join our FB community. Pin your starting number. Not because you have to, but because one day, your grandchild might look at you and say, "Grandpa, how did you stay strong so long?" And you can smile, hold up your fork, and say, "One salad at a time, kid." So here we are. Day 30 became day 31. And you know what? I didn't stop. Not because someone told me to keep going. But because I liked who I was becoming. A man who woke up not fearing his pressure. A man who looked in the mirror and saw effort, not excuses. And most of all, a man who knew it's never too late to reclaim your health. If you've watched this far, friend, then something in you knows. You're not too old. You're not set in your ways. You're not a hopeless case. You are one decision away from a very different future. So here's what I want you to do. Click the link below. Download the DASH tracker. Print it. Tape it to your fridge. Pick 3 potassium-rich foods. Start today. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Join us in the Facebook group, Heart Strong Seniors. I'm in there. Frank's in there. We check in every Friday. We share recipes. We mess up. We joke. But most importantly, we don't quit. I used to think change was a mountain. Now I know, it's just a sidewalk. One step. One choice. One salad at a time. And if you want to keep going with me, next week's video is about the 7 deadly grocery habits that raise BP. We'll talk about what's hiding in your pantry. And why your low-fat yogurt might be your worst enemy. But for now, I want you to take this moment. Sit with it. Close your eyes, breathe in. And say to yourself, I am not a number on a blood pressure machine. I am a story still being written. And my friend, if you've made it this far, then this story is about to get good. Stay steady. Stay salty smart. I'm Harold. And I'll see you at lunch.